Good day, everyone. This is Ethan, moderator for this webinar. Welcome everyone for today's webinar, Terminating Employees Safely. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Bob McKenzie. Bob McKenzie has over 40 years of human resources management experience. His background includes a wide range of hands-on experience in all areas of human resources management in all types of industries within the public and private sectors. Bob is a graduate of Rider University, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Commerce degree and double majored in industrial relations and organizational behavior. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Bob.
Ethan, thank you very much, and thank you all for attending. Terminating employees safely. It's getting a little complicated these days. The areas to be addressed here, first of all, discussion on employment at will, but you're going to have no surprises. Okay, if you're going to be terminating an employee for cause, there should be no surprises to that. Importance of work standards, really, really very important. What's this concept of fairness? Events leading to the termination. Documentation and how important that is. Then we're going to figure out what you're going to have to do to plan the termination discussion. Then we got to hold the termination discussion. I always recommend a written termination letter. Then what not to do. Reductions in force. And then post-termination, you still have to do certain things. Here's the employment at will. First of all, employment at will is active in all states, since you can terminate an employee at any time for any reason or no reason, and the employee can quit at any time with no notice. Okay, here's some exceptions, and there's a lot of them. Public policy exemption, discrimination laws, workers' compensation retaliation, implied covenant of good faith, written or implied contract. Obviously, if you have a union, you got to go by what the collective bargaining agreement says. Whistleblower protection. How about a constructive discharge? If you are exercising your legal rights, and this kind of, again, goes along with public policy. Test positive for marijuana, off-duty contact. So all that. Montana, like I was telling you, Montana is the only state that does not have employment at will. Here's the thing, refusal to break the law. You keep employment at will statements in your handbook. Everyone's a member of a protected class. And we got all these things in here. Termination should come as no surprise to the employee. And second part, the reason for termination should always be communicated to the employee. Importance of work standards. Standards of performance. How much, by when. And then we're going to have standards of behavior. What are your company values? Now, we also have attendance standards. Be aware of mandatory paid sick leave laws. Concept of fairness. So put yourself in the position of a plaintiff attorney. Look at the case. Look at, say, should we terminate this person now? Was the employee given a chance to improve, if appropriate? But you also got to think about consistency, respect, dignity. Take a look at company policies. Here's certain things. Here's a documentation leading to termination. Number one, acknowledgement of receipt of handbook. Acknowledgement of standards of performance or behavior. Or a note to file. Could be a coaching and counseling session, okay? And you can even do this with verbal warning. Then we'll go to a written warning. Sometimes we go from there to a final warning, then termination. Importance of documentation. The employee was terminated in violation of the Age Discrimination in Employment Act. Planning termination. Set a date and time. And then we're going to have IT remove employees' access to the computer system and other sites. To write a script for a supervisor. Have a termination letter prepared. How you allow the employee to get personal belongings. If you want to do it right away, have a box ready. So anything that the employee has that's part of the company property, you should have a list of all of that and make sure that all of that stuff can be turned in quickly. Always like to get the final paycheck prepared. You may want to consider having security nearby. Now, holding the termination discussion. Make sure it's a private place. If you can end on a high note, do that. Written termination. First of all, we're going to start with a confirmation of the reason for termination. Wish the employee well. We wish best wishes for good luck and success in your future endeavors. A couple other things not to do. I don't like terminating people by telephone, text message, or email. Don't allow access to the computer system after termination. Reduction in force. Determine, first of all, usually reductions in force are handled in one of two ways. Either it's seniority or performance. Consider using a release for all reductions in force. Post-termination, communicate with coworkers. State that the former employee is no longer with the company. Ensure employee privacy is maintained. And your action items. Terminations are not easy. Be prepared for anything and everything. Do all of your homework to ensure all bases are covered. Here, it's very complicated in 2023. We got electronic equipment, access to websites, social media, and make sure former employee access to all is deactivated. And take charge of the process. Always act professionally during termination discussions.
Thank you, Bob. That was a wonderful webinar. It was really very detailed and topic-wise.
All right. I just want to say that terminating people is we got a very litigious society. So with that in mind, hey, enjoy the rest of your year. Stay safe. Be good.
Thanks, Bob. That does conclude the session for today. Thank you, everyone, for participating. You may all disconnect now. You all have a great day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care.